Hey, gang, I want to talk to you about something that is really important. And I think we've all done this in business life. And when we've got team members, obviously, when you're building a leverage business, which is my philosophy on business life, which means that you don't have to be in it for it to make money and enable you to do amazing things in life. You rely on team members, right? You rely on team members to be able to execute on the mission and provide a really good client experience and all of those things. And one of the biggest challenges that we face as leaders is that sometimes those team members don't execute at a standard or at all or with what was required and sometimes that can be a little bit frustrating to business owners. And a common challenge that I hear from business owners when they're talking to me about their frustrations with the team members not being able to do this or do that is a very common comment that I hear, which is, but isn't that common sense? So I want to be the bearer of bad news to every single clinic and salon owner out there, right? And that is, there is no such thing as common sense, right? And I want to unpack that with you a little bit because, you know, it can definitely be frustrating when team members are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. But rather than blame that experience on the team members themselves and make an assumption that they should just know how to do this or how to do that or behave in this way or whatever it is. The fact that they haven't done something, the first point of call, or they haven't executed something to standard, the first port of call is that you need to look at yourself, right? Because nothing is common sense. When someone has not performed as expected or they've overlooked something or something's not done to standard, it is potentially symptomatic of a lot of things that you are responsible for as a business owner, right? It could be symptomatic of poor communication or miscommunication. It could be symptomatic of not enough process, not enough procedure. It could be symptomatic of there not being enough clarity for the team member around what that needed to look like or how that needed to be done. So you need to look at yourself first. When there are challenges happening in your team environment where someone's not doing what they're supposed to be doing, there's no assumptions in this game, right? You can't just assume that people should be able to do A, B, C, and D of their own volition. It doesn't exist, right? So you need to build a business in a way that makes sure that common sense is not a factor in the determination of someone being successful. I know that sounds a bit mean in that, okay, so we can't rely on common sense. Shit, who are we hiring here? Right? But you can't, because common sense is an assumption that someone should just know something, and assumptions are problematic in a lot of different ways, right? So you need to build a business that requires no level of common sense, no degree of assumption, no gray area, that everything is accounted for. And I understand that sometimes policies and procedures cannot represent every single little thing in your business, right? But that's where good leadership and communication and connection and understanding and, your one-to-one meetings and, the healthiness of the relationships in your business can help plug the gaps on some of the things that can't be written down, right? Because I have also come across really astute businesses that are protocoled to the bloody wazoo, and they still have people not doing what they're supposed to be doing in their environment because the communication and the culture and the connection's not there, right? So don't get me wrong, you can't protocol your way out of everything. It is a combination of culture, connection, communication, and protocol that allows you to eliminate assumption and the need for common sense, right? So this could be bad news to you, but I think we've all been in this place before where we've become so frustrated by team members not being able to execute on something that we do get to the point where we go, can you just think for yourself? Like, was that really difficult to come up with for A plus B equals, but we can't. We've got to take responsibility. We've got to own the fact that we have individuals that rely on our leadership to be able to mentor and guide them. And that's not to say we have to make decisions on their behalf or tell them what to do all the time. Absolutely not. It's actually the opposite. We want to build free thinkers, right? But you have to build them. They don't just drop out the sky, right? It's your responsibility as a leader that if you want autonomous decision making in your business, that you facilitate those skills in your team members. Okay, but if you've caught yourself saying, don't people have common sense around here? What's it a lack of? A lack of communication, a lack of connection, a lack of culture, a lack of system process. Have a little bit of a think about that.